and we're going to begin. So we're going to start with the greeting of the day. Kane, what would you like to do today for our greeting? Good morning, Kane. Connor, what would you like to do? Air hug, thank you. Noah, what would you like to do? Good morning. Gabriella, what would you like to do? Air hug, thank you. Kendra, what would you like to do with me this morning? Mwah. Good morning. Amani, what would you like to do with me this morning? Hi, Amani. Emily? Air hug, thank you. Jamarcus? Wilfred? Ashlyn? Quentin? Cervantes? Air hug. Oh, thank you so much. We'll be doing the greeting to ourselves. Batman. Jada, you got chosen for question of the, or not question of the day, sorry, greeting of the day. So our greeting is, and there's only one left in the container, so I got to fill it back up. But our greeting today is military salute. So pretty much like, okay, so I'll start out with Jada. Good morning, Jada.
Good morning, Kane.
Thank you. You can mute yourself. Kane, can you say good morning to Jada and salute her?
Good morning, Wilfred.
Good job. Ashlyn, can you now say good morning to Quentin? Everybody say, well, just wave, okay? Don't unmute yourself. Say good morning, Mr. Marcus. Hi, Mr. Marcus. She'll just be on the sidelines, okay? Ashlyn, I apologize. Can you please say good morning to Quentin?
Good morning, Quentin.
Thank you. Quentin, can you please say good morning to Ashlyn? There you
go, buddy.
Good. Can you now say good morning to Cervantes?
Good morning, Cervantes.
Good. You may mute yourself. Cervantes, can you say good morning to our friend Quentin? Good morning, everybody. Welcome. It is Wednesday, August, what's today? The 26th. 2020. It is Wednesday. Happy middle of the school week. So that means we only got about 2 more days and then it will be Friday. All right, so let's go into Marvin. Let's see who gets to do Marvin today. Oh, Connor, you got Marvin. Connor, do you have a pet?
Yeah, I have 2.
You want to go bring one and show it to us so we can ask you a couple of questions about your pet? That's why it's hard. Is it a cat or a dog?
Dog.
Oh, is it a boy or girl?
Boy.
What's his name?
Tyrion.
Do you have a favorite moment with your dog?
Every single day.
Oh, I love it. Okay, so we're going to take 3 questions from our friends. Gabriella, you want to ask him the first question about his dog?
What color is your dog's fur?
What color is your dog's fur?
It's black and brown.
Good. Okay, thank you, Gabriella, for the question. Noah?
How old is your dog, and how old was he when you got it, and how old is it right now?
Good.
He's 6 right now, and we got him when I was a baby, and he was a little puppy.
Oh, okay. All right, I see a couple of more hands up. Kendra.
That dog's old then.
It is old. Kendra, would you like to ask your questions? Wow, we have a lot of hands up today. Go ahead, Kendra.
What do you do with your dog?
What do you do with your dog?
I play with him a lot.
Yeah, you play with him a lot? Okay, thank you, Kendra, for the question. We'll go to Quentin, then Cervantes, then Kane. So, Quentin, go ahead and ask your question.
What does your dog do?
So, what does your dog like to do, like on its spare time or something? What does your dog like to do?
Usually, he just likes to sleep.
He just sleeps.
Or walk around. Does your dog knows how to do any tricks?
Ooh, good one. Does your dog know how to do any tricks?
Not really, but he does know how to protect me and my family.
Good job. So his dog's a protector. That means he loves him very much. Okay, thank you so much, Connor, for doing your Marvin segment today. We'll now move on to, once again, Mrs. Nagy's favorite part of the day, which is question of the day. So let's see who gets to do question of the day. Batman. Jada. Where is Jada? Jada, you got question of the day. Okay, so I will get the question. If you could have lunch with anyone in the world, who would it be? I would have to say my grandmother who passed away. I would love to have lunch with her one last time. Jada, if you could have lunch with anyone in the world, and it doesn't have to be just someone who passes away, who would you love to have lunch with?
My grandma that is in Texas.
Okay, so her grandma that's in Texas. Kane, would you like to tell us who would you love to have lunch with? He just has to unmute. And it could be anyone. It could be a fictitious, like, superhero, too, if you like. Go ahead, Kane.
My papa and my Gigi.
Okay, so pretty much like grandma and daddy. Connor, who would you love to have lunch with? Anyone in the whole wide world?
My best friend, Jax.
Kendra, would you like to tell us who you would love to have lunch with?
It would be my little brother.
Okay.
And my mom and my 2 dogs.
Amani, who would you like to have lunch with?
Miss Nagy.
Aw, you're so sweet. When we do come to school, I do lunch with the teacher. Either once a month, or if you guys are super duper good, I tend to do it almost bi-weekly Fridays. So you would definitely have lunch with the teacher, I promise. Emily, who would you love to have lunch with?
My brother and my sister and my mom and dad and you.
Ashlyn. Okay, Ashlyn, who would you like to have lunch with? With mommy? Okay. All right. Thank you. Quentin?
With Goku, my dad, my mom, and you.
You said Goku? Oh, my husband would have loved your answer. He loves, like, what is that, Dragon Ball Z?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so he said Goku. All right, Cervantes, who would you love to have lunch with? Naruto. I know that show, too. Isn't that an anime, too, where he has, like, kind of like a band on his head or something like that? Yeah. I know that show.
Goku and my whole family.
Cool. All right. Thank you, Cervantes. And then Jada went. So Noah, who would you like to have lunch with?
My grandma that passed away. I never got to see her.
This is kind of a weird choice. I don't know why. I'm probably the Fortnite creator and
Okay.
Baka.
So you kind of like want to pick his brain and see how he came up with Fortnite. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also my Baka.
Well, who?
My Baka.
Who's that?
My grandma.
Oh, okay. All right. Grandma. Wilfred, who would you like to have lunch with?
My aunt in Africa.
Oh. Would you want to go to Africa? Or would you want her to visit you in America?
Visit me.
Okay. All right. I would love to go to Africa. I heard it's beautiful. Thank you, Wilfred. Jayla, can you unmute your mic and tell us who you would love to have lunch with? Here.
You.
Aw, thank you, Jayla. All right, guys, we're going to move into the schedule because there's only one portion that's a little bit different, okay, only because Miss Nagy has a meeting in between the day. So we'll go over the schedule right quick, and this should be an 11 because it's the 11th day of school. I can't believe how fast school is going, guys. It's crazy. Okay, so today is the 11th day of school. We're finishing up morning meeting. We'll do Pledge Poem of the Week. At 8:30, we will do our spelling. Today is just the games, okay? And then we will do our reading block, followed by our small groups. After our small groups, we will do writing. Normally, I sent you to lunch from 10:50 to 11:50. However, you'll go to lunch today at 10:30 because Miss Nagy has a meeting at 10:30, okay? And then you'll have an hour lunch today. So you'll go from 10:30 to 11:30. When we come back, you know it's our math block, so make sure that you have a piece of paper, a pencil, and your Go Math textbook. Then we will move into science. We'll just continue our study on push and pull forces. Then we will read our 1.5 pages of Old Yeller, our final thoughts, and then dismissal. I'm shooting for about 1:30 dismissal, okay? Normally it's 2, but you know that if we can bust this out really fast, we get to go home earlier. Because yesterday, you guys finished an hour early, so maybe we can do it again, okay? All right, let's get ready for the classroom pledge. Everyone, please unmute your mic. In Mrs. Nagy's class, we use kind words and work quietly. We work hard and help. We are kind, happy, and respectful. We respect our classroom and always keep it clean. We are a great classroom. Good job, guys. Mute your mics. Okay, guys, so we're going to continue with our poem of the week called All My Excuses. My mother ran my homework through the washer and the dryer. An airplane crashed into our house. My homework caught on fire. Tornadoes blew my notes away. Volcanoes struck our town. My notes were taken hostage by an evil killer clown. I worked on these excuses so long my teacher said, I think you'll find it easier to do the work instead. Okay, guys, so you are at your first 5-minute break. Return back to me at 8:36. No signing off, okay? Just walk away from the screen. Okay, guys, so yesterday we were doing our picture walk, and we ran out of time. So we'll just pick it up back where we left off. So we were on page 33. So the last person who did page 33 was Quentin yesterday, and he believes that the tiger is hiding or that he can see her, okay? So he believes that he can see her. So we're now going to turn to page 34, and I'm going to choose someone from the jar. And then you're going to tell me what you see on page 34. Okay, so Cervantes, I chose you. Can you tell us what you see on page 34 and 35? You may unmute your mic.
I see she's still in the jungle.
She's still in the jungle, and we also see a tiger. And I see that she looks kind of happy, right? So I can't guess why she's happy, but I think this is a good scene right here. Okay, let's turn to page 36, and I'll choose someone from the jar. Jamarcus. Jamarcus, can you unmute your mic and tell me what you see on page 36?
I see a black bear and a deer. Oh, no.
Okay, so on 36, you see like this big old black bear. Okay?
Yeah.
All right, so I'm wondering why we keep seeing all these animals. They seem really significant. Thank you, Jamarcus. Page 37, Drake. Can you tell us what you see on page 37?
A fox, I think, pushing a rock.
So you kind of see a fox pushing a rock. And I'm also noticing...
I think the sun's out.
Okay, you see the sun? But I'm noticing that we're kind of going backwards, because when we first started the story, she first met the fox, and now towards the end, she's meeting the fox again. So I'm wondering if she started walking, and then she met the fox, and then now she's coming home, and she's meeting the fox again. I wonder.
So, Miss Nagy,
Mm-hmm.
do you know how you said, why is she not, so the tiger, when she wasn't really afraid of it,
Uh-huh.
I wonder what if all the animals are hers?
Ooh, maybe she's like queen of the jungle?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe she's queen of the jungle. All right. Thank you, Drake, for your response. Okay, so we are on page 38. And the person who will be telling about 38 is Quentin. Quentin, can you unmute your mic and tell me what you see on page 38 and 39?
There's a face of I don't know what face that is, but there's a face.
Okay.
And the girl's smiling. I think that's the dog face.
Oh, you mean the fox's face right there by her? Yeah, that's the fox that's standing right by her on page 38.
Oh, well, she seems pretty happy.
All right, so yeah, what you see, Quentin, is the fox. Okay, he's standing right by her. But what do you see on the next page?
I see a black dog walking around and the white dog.
Okay, so why do you think that you see those dogs? Why do we keep seeing these dogs?
Well, I think I know what's going on. I think they're trying to find their home or something.
That you think they're trying to find their home? Okay.
And their owner. And their owner.
And their owner. All right. Thank you, Quentin. We're going to turn to the next page. So we're on page 40. And the person who's going to describe page 40 is Cervantes.
Well, you see how she's making something to eat?
Okay, yeah, I see food.
I think there's probably three curved bamboo. And on the side, I think she's trying to feed the dogs because they keep on coming up to her.
Okay.
And I also see a chili. So and dogs can't they have chilies or no?
I have no idea. I doubt it. But I mean, let's get a show up. Let's get a thumbs up. Do we think that these are her dogs? Give me a thumbs up if you think these are her dogs. Okay? Give me a thumbs up if you think these are just some random dogs that she's feeding. Okay? Maybe she doesn't want the dogs to hurt her, so maybe she's feeding them. Okay, so that was the end of our picture walk. So now I'm going to take responses from you guys. And you guys are going to tell me what you predict this story is going to be about, based solely off of the pictures. So who would like to start us off? Who would like to tell us what they predict this story will be about? Quentin.
What does predict mean?
Predict means is like pretty much what do you think is going to happen in the story?
I don't think what's going to happen in the story is that she's going to feed her dog. Then they're going to go home. And I actually think the tiger is friendly.
Okay, so he thinks that those are her dogs. She's just going to feed him. They're going to go home. And he thinks that the tiger is friendly. Okay, Drake, you want to tell us what you think this book is going to be about? So what do you predict our story is going to be about?
Well, how I said, I don't think dogs can have chilies. I don't think these are not her dogs, and she actually does not like them.
Okay, so she's trying to
I think she's actually going to get all the animals and try to feed them bad stuff for them to go somewhere.
Okay, so you think that she's going to feed them some stuff that's going to harm them. Okay, so today we're going to do what is called a pleasure read. And that means that we pretty much read a story, not trying to understand it, not trying to figure out the plot and the character twist and all that stuff. A pleasure read is just when we literally read for fun. Because in the class, we read a story twice. So the first time that we are introduced to a story, we do a picture walk and a prediction. The second time that we are introduced to a story, we do our pleasure read. And I am trying to find, here we go. And then the third time, or the second time pretty much that we're introduced to a story, we do a comprehension read. And that is when we start to really focus on what is happening in our story. So today we'll just begin our reading of Grandma and the Great Gourd. Your lesson objective is to practice tools and strategies to improve reading and overall comprehension. And I'll explain to you what that is in a minute. Your I can statement, or what I hope you can say after this reading block, is say I can practice using different tools and strategies to improve my reading and comprehension. So your self-assessment right now, using your 5 fingers to show me where you are, assess yourself on how well do you think you can read. So I want to see how you personally feel about your reading skills. So if you're like, you know what, I struggle at reading, I'm about a 1 or a 2. oh, I'm okay, but I need a little bit of help. I can read, but I struggle a little bit. You could put 3. And then 4 or 5, it's about, I'm good at reading, but I could do a little bit better. Okay, I'm glad. Okay, so you guys are being honest. I see a lot of 3s and a lot of 4s. Okay, and I even see some 5s. Okay, so I'm hoping by the end of this lesson, you guys are like, you know what? I think if I use the tools that Miss Nagy brings up, I think I can be better at reading. So our essential question for the day is, what are some strategies or tools you use to help you read better, okay? So I am going to give you about 30 seconds to think about that. And one example would be using your fingers to follow along with the words as you read. Okay, so we'll start out with Cervantes, and then anyone else who would like to share, you just hold up your hand.
Sounding out.
Okay, so I'm going to go back to the slide. And he said one way that he uses to read better is sounding out. So pretty much sounding out the words. Good job. Does anyone else want to share? Drake?
ABCs.
So like sounding out the letters when you see them, like the ABCs?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So that's kind of like what Cervantes said with sounding out. So like, for example, we know our ABCs. So if we see the S, which is in our ABC, we know that goes, right? So that's sounding out. Thank you, Kane. You may mute yourself. Amani, would you like to share? And then Kendra? We have another one for sounding out. Does anyone else have a strategy besides sounding out? Mm-hmm.
So basically, if there's, say, I'm spelling present, I would count one finger and see how many words there are.
Oh,
and then just syllables? Write them down.
You mean syllables? Like you?
Yeah, I'm trying to see how many words there are, and then I can write them down.
All right, thank you, Drake. So I'm gonna go back to the thing and add his response. So he said his way for reading better and sounding out is using syllables in words, and that is definitely an amazing way to sound out words, right? Okay, because like if we have the word kidnap, we know that one syllable is kid, so you'll pretty much see the N and know that it says kidnap. So syllables is a great way to use to read better, okay? So at this time, oh no, I'm so sorry. So our next question is, what would we like to learn more about reading strategies or how to read better? What would we like to learn more? Gabriella? So
I'd like to learn more about how so many people can say so many twisted words like supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Oh, okay. So she wants to know how people can sound out like these gigantic words, okay? So we would put how to sound out really big words, okay? And these little slides right here where you guys tell me what you would like to learn, Miss Nagy goes home and she actually tries to find answers to these, and then she pretty much like updates the lessons to help you guys out. Okay, Connor, would you like to share? I see you, buddy.
So once, I think in California, people, they don't really sound out. They have a little machine that basically prints out words.
Okay.
And they're not printing papers.
Okay.
But it's like paper.
Okay.
And then they make something and then it's words. And then, I don't know, they just paint it on the paper somehow, I guess. Well, that's what my friend in in California said.
You know what? You know what would be really great if you can contact your friend and ask him what that is so that we can learn too, because I have no idea what you're talking about.
I know. Yeah. But I need to see if he's online because he's on my PS4 though.
Okay, so yeah, hopefully you can contact him and be like, hey, what's that cool thing you do? So that Mrs. Nagy can introduce or share it to us. Okay, thank you so much, Drake. All right, guys, so, excuse me. I'll be going back to my slide. So these are kind of some of the things on what you would like to learn in order to improve your reading. So in other words, just pretty much how to sound out those really gigantic words. At this time, we are at page 19 in our MyView textbook, which is the beginning page or the picture of Grandma and the Great Gourd. So at this time, we are on page 19. Now, I will read this slide to you as you are getting there. What is a pleasure read? Okay, after we conducted a picture walk and created a prediction, it is now time to go on a pleasure read. A pleasure read is when we read for fun. When we pleasure read, we are just trying to enjoy the story the way the author intended us to. In this stage of reading, we are not focusing on why things are happening in the story, the plot, the lesson, or the character development. We are just reading for fun, okay? So, now I will go to this slide. We will begin reading Grandma and the Great Gourd. I will call on some individual students to, that should say read, to read out loud. And then halfway through the story, we will reflect and see if our predictions that we made were right. Okay, so the way that we read in class is through the jar. So Miss Nagy always reads number 1, and then she will choose someone to read, and then you'll read number 2. The next person will read number 3. So you normally only read about a sentence or two. It's not a full page, okay, because everyone participates in the reading. So we're on page 19. It says Grandma and the Great Gourd. Retold by Chitra Banerjee Divakaruni, okay, and illustrated by Susie Waters. And it is a traditional tale. Let's turn to page 21. Okay, Miss Nagy will read the first one, and then she'll pull out someone's stick to read number 2. Once upon a time, in a little village in India, there lived an old woman whom everyone called Grandma. She loved gardening and had the best vegetable patch in the village. So the next person to read number 2 is Drake. You may go ahead. You'll read number 2, Drake. So you'll unmute your mic.
Grandma lived by herself in a little hut at the edge of the village next to a deep, dark jungle.
Mm-hmm.
At times she could hear herds of elephants slithering over dry leaves.
Lumbering.
On forest paths.
Thump. Thump. Thump.
Or giant lizards slithering over dry leaves.
Kosh. Yeah, so since this story takes place in India, they'll use some sounds that people use in India, okay? Thank you so much, Drake. The next person to read number 3 is, do we have Soraya? Yep, Soraya, so you'll unmute yourself and you'll read number 3.
She didn't make
Mind.
food because she had to
Loyal.
things,
Dogs. Kaloo and Baloo.
to
Protect.
her.
They also
help keep her
garden. Chores. Thank you so much, Soraya. You did an amazing job, okay? Thank you. So I'll just reread that to you guys just one more time. She didn't mind because she had 2 loyal dogs, Kaloo and Baloo, to protect her. They also helped her with garden chances, okay? So I'm going to pause right here. So Drake, you remember when you said that she was trying to hurt the dogs? Okay, so that prediction we kind of didn't get right because these are two of her most loyal pets. So she's not trying to hurt them. Okay? All right, let's turn the page, guys, and I'll choose who will be reading number 4. Ashlyn, you will read number 4 on page 22.
One day, Grandma revealed
Received.
a letter from,
Received.
Oh,
One day.
received.
Uh-huh.
A letter from her daughter who lived on the other side of the jungle.
All right, the person who's reading number 5 is Cervantes. So, Cervantes, can you read number 5?
Okay. Please come and
Visit.
visit me, said they later.
The letter.
The letter.
Uh-huh.
I had to see.
I haven't seen.
I haven't seen you in so
Long.
I miss you.
Good job. Thank you so much for your reading, Cervantes. You did a great job. So now her daughter is on the other side of the jungle, and she's like, Mom, can you come visit me? I miss you. Okay? All right. Number 6 will be read by Noah. So, Noah, can you please read number 6 for us? Grandma missed
her daughter too, and decided to visit her. She was a little scared about traveling through the jungle where so many fierce animals lived. But then she said, "What's a life without adventure?"
Good job, Noah. Okay, so she decided that she was going to take her daughter up on her offer. And she was like, yeah, you know what? I'll go visit you. So number 7, thank you, Noah. You may mute. Emily, may you please read number 7 for us?
She packed her things and said goodbye to her dogs. Don't worry, boys. She told them, I'll be back soon. Don't forget to take care of my garden.
Good.
Yes, you.
Good.
Said the dog. We won't forget. We'll chase away the wild animals. And we'll listen for you. If you get in trouble, just call for us.
Good. So she's like, okay, I'm leaving now. I want you to protect the house, okay? And then the dogs were like, don't worry about it. If you get in trouble, just call us and we'll come. Thank you. Wilfred, can you read number 8?
Okay. As Grandma was traveling through the jungle, she came upon a clever red fox.
Okay, thank you so much, Kane. So now she met our first character in the jungle. She's now meeting the fox. So as Grandma was traveling through the jungle, she came upon a clever fox. Ah, Grandma, he said, baring his pointy teeth. So baring means he's showing. How nice of you to arrive just when I'm so hungry. Grandma's heart went dut-dut, but she didn't let the fox see how scared she was. If you're planning to have me for breakfast, she said, that's a terrible idea. See how skinny I am? I'll be a lot plumper on my way back from my daughter's house because she's such a good cook. You can eat me then, if you like. That sounds good, said the fox. And he let her go. So one of our predictions where you said maybe the fox or the animals in the jungle are nice, they want to eat her. So as you notice, our class is coming back in. Thank you, everyone who is so prompt in coming back to class, okay? So while we're waiting for the other people, we are moving into our writing block, and our writing block is extremely short today, okay? Our writing block is only until 10:15, okay? I need you guys to now go into Google Classroom and you'll just choose your prompt for today and make sure you turn it in, okay? You will return back to me for math at 11:30, okay? At 11:30. So you guys are having your lunch break right now, okay? I just realized I didn't press the video button when we started our evening classes, okay? So I was not able to record our math and half of our science, but that's okay. Cervantes, and only Cervantes right now, you want to tell us how you practiced a push or a pull force today?
And this morning, I just used pull to pick up my controller.
Okay, yeah, he pulling because he picked up some. You absolutely right. Zelia, how did you apply a push or a pull force today? And I'm going to go down the line because I see all of you.
I kind of pushed my sister and my baby brother off the bed. I brushed my teeth. It's a push and a pull.
Yeah, it is because you pull your toothbrush to you and then you pull it away from you as well when you're done with it.
I pulled the refrigerator door.
Okay, yeah, you got to pull that bad boy to open it up and get the food, and then you got to push it closed. And then finally, Cervantes, you want to share with us how you practice a push and pull today?
By opening my car door.
By opening the car door, right? Because in order to get into the car, you got to open the door.
It's a push and pull.
It is a push and pull because when you open it, it depends on which side you're in, because if you're in the car and you're getting out, you push the door open. But if you were on the opposite side where you were getting into the car, you would pull the door open. All right, so pretty much that is science. I want you guys to take a pretty much like a 4-minute break before we start our reading our page and a half of Old Yeller. So come back to me at 1:04, okay? So Travis was out hunting for a deer, and then this deer got like really, really close to him. And he was scared because he didn't want the deer to notice that he was there. But eventually it got so close to him that he had no choice but to make noise and like swing his rifle around, because, you know, his mom sent him out there to find food, and deer is food. So he ended up swinging his rifle around, and the deer started running away. So he decided to shoot anyway, and he ended up shooting at the deer, and he was hoping that his shot was good. So let's see if his shot was good. After I fired, the black powder, that's just gunpowder, charged in my gun, threw up such a thick fog of blue smoke that I couldn't see through it. I reloaded, then leaped to my feet and went running through the smoke. What I saw when I came into the clear again made my heart drop down into my shoes. There went the frightened, snorting cattle stampeding through the trees with their tails in the air like it was heel fly time. And right beside them went my doe, running all humped up and with her white pointed tail clamped tight to her rump. So that means that he injured the deer. So, I mean, he got a shot, but he only injured her. He didn't down her. Which meant that I'd hit her, but hadn't made a kill shot. I probably should have just read, right, and kept my mouth shut because they explained it. I didn't like that. I never minded killing for me. Like Papa had told me, every creature has to kill to live. But to wound an animal was something else, especially one as pretty and harmless as a deer. It made me sick to think of the does escaping, maybe to hurt for days before she finally died. So he's okay with killing it really fast if it doesn't suffer, but if it suffers, he gets really sad about it because he doesn't want his animal to suffer. Then suddenly the doe did a surprising thing. Way down in the flat there, nearly out of sight, she ran head on into the trunk of a tree, like she was stone blind. I saw the flash of her light-colored belly as she went down. I waited. She didn't get up. I tore out, running through the thin grass as fast as I could. When I finally reached the place, all out of breath, I found her lying there dead, with a bullet hole through her middle, right where it had to have shattered the heart. Suddenly, I wasn't sick anymore. I felt big and strong and sure of myself. I hadn't made a bad move, or I hadn't made a bad shot. I hadn't caused an animal a lot of suffering. All I'd done was get meat for the family, shooting it on the run, just like Papa did. Okay, so that's our short reading today. So we find out that his shot was effective. And, it makes me feel good that, because, I'm the type of person that I don't believe in hunting. I mean, I understand as human beings we have to eat meat, but I don't like other things killing other things. But I am glad to know that he only hunts to make sure that his family is fed and that he doesn't hunt to hurt things. So that makes me feel really, really good. First of all, I want to say that I am definitely noticing how much you guys are trying to be actively a part of the lessons. And I really appreciate that because it helps me to see if you're learning. My biggest issue is, once again, the mics, which, you guys are no longer waiting for me to call on you. You're just pretty much interrupting the lesson. And that's really, really hard for me because then I lose sight of where I am, or if another student was paying attention to me, now they're lost. But what started yesterday but wasn't a big problem but has become a problem today is that you guys are definitely not staying focused in regards to, you pretty much raise your hand, and instead of commenting on what we are currently learning, you do a totally different sidebar where if we're learning about math, you stop me and you tell me either about your dog or your tooth, or you start doing show and tell. Quentin, hold up. No, we still here, Quentin. So mute your mic. So my biggest issue right now is I need you guys to make sure that when we're in a lesson, that's all we're talking about. Please don't stop the lesson and tell me about something you did the other day, or stop the lesson and try to show me a toy, okay? Because, that's not okay because we need to stay focused. Now, at any time, I do allow show and tell once a month. And so I will tell you guys when or what day is show and tell, but we cannot stop class for you to show me a toy or a pencil or something, okay? All right, so does anyone want to share about what they think went well or what we need to improve on? And then I'm going to let you guys go.
We did really good on our writing.
You guys all did very well on your assignments. I don't have an issue with you guys doing your assignments. It's more of staying on subject, okay? Zalia, you finally got your mic to work. You want to tell us?
We could improve on stop turning on our mics and stuff.
Yes.
In the middle of class.
Yeah, because, honestly, I love discussion with you guys. I thrive on that. But we cannot interrupt Miss Nagy teaching unless she calls on you, okay? Quentin, go ahead. Thank you, Zalia, for your input. I'll mute you.
Everything went well today. The only thing that we just need to improve on is math.
Yeah, you know what? Math lately has been hard because for some reason at the end of the day, it's like our internet goes out, and that really, really sucks, right? So, yeah, during our math, you just got to bear with it, okay? Everyone in South Bend is on their computers, so it's bound to happen that we're going to have, technical issues, okay? All right, Cervantes and then Kendra, and then I will release you.
Alright, so the thing that we need to start doing or improving is typing in the chat box and reading.
Thank you. And I really appreciate you mentioning that, because after this meeting, I'm going to have to look in that chat bar and know that you guys are not staying focused. Okay? So I really appreciate you bringing that up, Cervantes. I have no problem with you guys talking to each other. I'll leave I always leave the meeting open when we're on our breaks, and you can totally talk to your friends at that time. I really don't care. But when it's time for class, we're not in that chat bar telling each other to shh and all that stuff, okay? Because Miss Nagy knows when you're not on task, okay? So at this time, you guys did an amazing job. Congratulations on finishing e-learning today. And pretty much, I will see you tomorrow at 8 o'clock in the morning. Okay, bye, guys.